I never thought twice about why I felt so tired after something as simple as climbing the stairs or lifting a bag of groceries. I'd laugh it off, blaming it on getting old. But one day, after struggling to carry a basket of laundry from the dryer, I sat down, breathing heavily, and thought to myself, this isn't just age, something's changing inside me. What I didn't realize then was that I was quietly losing muscle. Not from anything dramatic, just from time. It's a slow, sneaky process. You don't notice it right away. First, you stop reaching for things on the top shelf. Then, you find yourself holding onto the railing a little tighter. And before you know it, your body doesn't move the way it used to. But here's the good news, it's not too late. I learned that with the right foods and a few small lifestyle changes, we can actually fight back. We can rebuild strength, feel more energetic, and keep doing the things we love without needing help. This story isn't just about what's been lost, it's about what can still be regained. I want to share with you the simple, practical things that helped me, and just might help you too, feel stronger, more independent, and fully alive again. Let me start with something I never expected would make such a big difference: eggs. Part 2, Eggs, the top muscle-building food. I used to skip breakfast more often than I care to admit. A quick cup of coffee, maybe a slice of toast, and I'd call it a day. But after learning about muscle loss and what my body actually needed, I made one small change. I started eating eggs. Not fancy omelets or anything extravagant. Just simple, real eggs. And let me tell you, my body noticed. You see, eggs aren't just convenient, they're a powerhouse. Each one holds all 9 essential amino acids, which I had no idea my muscles were practically begging for. One in particular, leucine, plays a big role in helping muscles repair and grow. It's like a signal that tells your body, hey, let's rebuild. But that's not all. Eggs are packed with vitamin D, which surprised me. I always thought vitamin D was just for bones, but it turns out it's also crucial for muscle strength and coordination. And as someone who's taken a few too many near stumbles on uneven pavement, that caught my attention. Then there's choline, a funny-sounding nutrient I'd never paid attention to. It supports the way your muscles and nerves talk to each other. Since adding eggs to my routine, I've felt steadier, more balanced. I don't grip the banister as tight when I go downstairs, and that feeling, that quiet confidence in my own body, means everything. Some mornings, I'll boil a couple of eggs and eat them with a little salt and pepper. Other times, I'll scramble them up with some spinach or slice one over toast with avocado. However I prepare them, it's not just a meal, it's fuel. It's one of the easiest, most powerful changes I've made. And the best part? It's never too late to start. Part 3, Lean Meats, a quiet strength I didn't know I needed. After I got used to having eggs in the morning, I started looking at the rest of my meals with fresh eyes. I realized something: I'd been eating less meat than I used to. Not on purpose, just out of habit. Sandwiches turned into snacks, dinner portions shrank, and somewhere along the way, I forgot how much my body relied on real protein to stay strong. That's when I brought lean meats back into my life. I'm talking about chicken, turkey, even a good cut of beef now and then. These aren't just dinner staples, they're complete sources of protein. That means they've got all the building blocks your muscles need to grow, especially as you age. I'll be honest, at first, I thought, do I really need this much protein at my age? But the answer surprised me. Yes, I do. Maybe even more than I did in my younger years, because now my body doesn't absorb it as efficiently. It needs a little extra help. Lean meats also give me iron, something I'd been low on without realizing it. Iron helps carry oxygen through the blood to your muscles, and when you don't have enough, even walking across the room can feel like climbing a hill. And here's something I didn't expect: beef contains creatine. I used to think that was just for bodybuilders, but it turns out creatine helps with endurance and energy. I noticed I wasn't tiring out as quickly. I could carry more groceries, stay out longer, even walk that extra lap around the park without needing to rest. One Sunday, I roasted a small turkey breast and sliced it up for the week. A few pieces with lunch, a bit in a salad, some warmed up with veggies for dinner. It was simple, satisfying, and steadying. It felt good knowing I was feeding my body what it needed to stay mine. Because that's what it comes down to, not just eating to live, but eating to keep living well. Part 4, Fatty Fish, the surprising comfort food for my muscles. I didn't grow up eating salmon or sardines. In my house, fish was something you had on Fridays, usually fried, and usually with a slice of white bread. So, when I started hearing about the benefits of fatty fish, I was skeptical. But after a few weeks of feeling more alert, sleeping better, and moving with less joint pain, I became a believer. I started with salmon, just once a week. Grilled with a little lemon, or baked with some herbs. Not only was it delicious, it left me feeling full without that heavy, sluggish feeling I sometimes got from red meat. Turns out, it wasn't just the protein in the fish helping me. It was the omega-3 fatty acids, those little wonders that fight inflammation and improve circulation. I didn't expect them to make such a difference, but they did. My hands didn't ache as much in the morning. My knees felt less stiff after walks. It was like someone had quietly turned down the volume on the background noise in my body. I even noticed my muscles recovering faster after a bit of yard work or cleaning. Before, I'd feel sore for 2 or 3 days. Now? Just one. Sometimes not at all. One evening, I tried mackerel, rich, flavorful, and packed with goodness. Sardines came next. I wasn't sure about them at first, but on toast with a little mustard and sliced onion? Surprisingly tasty. And knowing they were helping my heart, joints, and muscles made them even easier to enjoy. I never thought fish would become part of my weekly routine. But now, I look forward to it. It's like giving my body the quiet kind of strength from the inside out. Part 5, Dairy Products, the everyday helpers I nearly overlooked. For the longest time, I thought milk was for kids and strong bones, and maybe the occasional splash in my coffee. I didn't realize that dairy, good old-fashioned milk, yogurt, and cheese could be one of my secret weapons in rebuilding muscle and staying on my feet. It started when my doctor mentioned something about whey and casein proteins. I blinked and said, "Whey what?" He chuckled and told me they're both found in dairy, and together, they do something powerful. Whey helps with fast muscle recovery, and casein provides a slow, steady release of amino acids while you rest. Like a 1-2 punch of strength and support. That night, I poured a small glass of milk before bed, something I hadn't done since I was a teenager. It felt simple. Comforting. But over time, I started noticing small changes. My legs didn't feel as weak when I got up in the morning. My arms didn't tremble as much when I carried my laundry. I added a bit of yogurt with breakfast, sometimes plain, sometimes with a few berries and a sprinkle of cinnamon. Not only was it easy to digest, but it also gave me calcium and vitamin D, both of which are essential not just for bones, but for muscle contraction and overall movement. Without them, muscles struggled to fire properly, and that's something I never knew until I felt the difference. And then there's cheese. I won't lie, I've always loved it. But now I eat it not just because it tastes good, but because it does good. A slice here and there, a sprinkle over vegetables, or even a little cube as a snack. It's not about eating a lot, it's about eating smart. I used to see dairy as something optional. Now I see it as something foundational. It helps me stay upright, steady, and just a little more me every single day. Part 6, Leafy Greens, the strength hiding in my salad bowl. If you told me years ago that spinach would become one of my most trusted health allies, I probably would have laughed. To me, leafy greens were always more of a decoration on the plate than the main event. But that changed the moment I understood what they were really doing for my body. One afternoon, I was folding laundry and suddenly felt lightheaded. Not dizzy exactly, just off. My doctor later mentioned I might be low on iron, and that's when I discovered the quiet power of spinach. You see, spinach isn't just healthy, it's a muscle-supporting, energy-boosting, endurance-building powerhouse. It's rich in iron, which helps carry oxygen to your muscles. That alone made a difference. I felt less winded walking up the driveway or gardening for an hour. I had more stamina, more go. But spinach also has something else going for it: magnesium and nitrates. Magnesium helps muscles relax and function properly, which is something I didn't know I needed until my legs stopped cramping at night. And the nitrates? They boost blood flow and endurance, especially during light exercise or daily chores. What really surprised me, though, were the antioxidants. These little protectors help guard muscle cells from aging. It's not just about building muscle, it's about keeping the ones you've got strong and safe for as long as possible. Now, I add a handful of spinach to my eggs in the morning, toss it into soups, and sometimes just saute it with garlic and olive oil. Nothing fancy, but each bite feels like an investment in the version of me I want to be: active, steady, independent. It's funny, really. Something I used to push to the side of the plate is now helping me stay upright and energized. Spinach didn't just change my meals, it changed my days. Part 7, Broccoli, the unsung hero of my recovery. I never had a strong opinion about broccoli. It wasn't my favorite, but I didn't dislike it either. It just existed. Something you steamed, added a bit of butter to, and moved on with your life. But once I started paying attention to how food could help me stay strong, I gave broccoli a second look, and what I found surprised me. Turns out, broccoli is rich in vitamin C, something most people only think of when they catch a cold. But here's the thing: vitamin C is a key player in muscle repair. It helps rebuild tissue after activity or injury, which means it's not just about staying healthy, it's about bouncing back. After doing some yard work one weekend, I noticed I wasn't as sore as usual. I'd been adding broccoli to my dinners a few times that week, roasted with a touch of olive oil, and it hit me: this little tree-looking veggie was doing more for me than I thought. Then there's something else: sulforaphane. It's a compound in broccoli that helps detoxify your cells and reduce inflammation. I didn't know that word until recently, but I can tell you what it felt like: less stiffness in the morning, fewer aches after bending or lifting, and a little more ease in my movements. And let's not forget collagen. Broccoli supports its production, and collagen keeps your connective tissues strong: your tendons, ligaments, the stuff that holds you together and keeps you moving. That mattered a lot to me, especially after a minor fall that reminded me how important those invisible parts of the body are. So now, broccoli gets a regular spot on my plate. Sometimes roasted, sometimes tossed into a stir-fry, even mixed into soup. It's no longer just a side dish. It's part of my strategy, a quiet partner in helping me stay active, stable, and me. Part 8, Complex Carbohydrates, the sweet potato that brought me back to life. I used to crash by mid-afternoon. No energy. No focus. Just this fog that would roll in like a heavy blanket, making even simple tasks feel like too much. At first, I thought it was just age catching up to me, but then I learned my body was running on the wrong kind of fuel. That's when I rediscovered sweet potatoes, and everything changed. See, when you're younger, you can get away with skipping meals or grabbing quick sugar fixes. But after a certain age, your body stops forgiving those choices. It needs steady, reliable energy, and that's where complex carbohydrates come in. Sweet potatoes are my go-to now. They digest slowly, releasing energy bit by bit, which means no more sudden crashes or that tired feeling right after a meal. It's like having a quiet engine that just keeps going, steady and dependable. But that's not all. These vibrant little tubers are rich in potassium and magnesium, two minerals that help with muscle function and prevent cramps. I used to get Charlie horses at night, painful, stubborn ones that jolted me awake. Since adding sweet potatoes to my dinners a few times a week? Not a single one. And they're full of antioxidants too, which help protect muscles from breakdown, especially important when your body's already fighting time. I like mine roasted with a sprinkle of cinnamon, or mashed with a bit of olive oil and sea salt. Simple, hearty, comforting, and more powerful than I ever gave them credit for. These days, when I finish a walk or carry groceries without needing a nap, I think about how much energy is tied to what we eat. Sweet potatoes gave me a new kind of strength, not the showy kind, but the kind that lasts all day. Part 9, Bananas, my little yellow power boost. There's something comforting about a banana. Maybe it's the softness, the sweetness, the way it fits just right in your hand. I used to eat them now and then, mostly when I remembered. But once I started learning more about energy and recovery, I began to see bananas in a whole new light. They're more than just a convenient snack. They're a fast, natural source of energy, especially when your muscles are feeling worn or your tank's running low. One morning, after a short walk that somehow felt like a mile, I came home feeling drained. I grabbed a banana, not expecting much. But within 20 minutes, I felt lighter. Not like I was suddenly ready to run a marathon, but like my legs didn't feel so heavy anymore. It makes sense now. Bananas are packed with carbohydrates, the kind your body uses quickly to refuel. That makes them perfect before or after any kind of activity, whether it's walking the dog, sweeping the porch, or even just doing some light stretching. But what really sold me was the potassium. I didn't realize how important potassium was until I started paying attention to the little signs: tight calves, twitchy muscles, even occasional dizziness. Bananas helped me balance things out. That one nutrient plays a big role in preventing cramps, maintaining fluid balance, and keeping your heart rhythm steady. Now, I keep a few on the counter at all times. I'll slice one over oatmeal, blend one into a smoothie, or just eat it plain with a handful of almonds. It's simple, satisfying, and best of all, it works. Part 10, Nuts, the small snack that keeps me going. There was a time when I avoided nuts. Too many calories, I used to say, especially when I was trying to watch my weight. But that changed the day my doctor said, "Don't count the calories, count the benefits." So I started with almonds, just a small handful a day. Not much. But the difference it made? That was big. Almonds are full of magnesium, which I'd overlooked my whole life. Turns out, it's essential for muscle contraction and relaxation. That meant fewer cramps, fewer tense moments in my back and legs, and a greater sense of ease in my movements. My body didn't feel like it was constantly bracing anymore. And let's not forget, the protein in almonds helps with muscle repair, especially on those days when I push myself a little more than usual. Even better, they're loaded with vitamin E, an antioxidant that fights inflammation and helps muscles recover faster. That's something I didn't even know I needed until I stopped feeling sore all the time. I started carrying a small container with me when I went out. If I felt my energy dip, I'd grab a few. They gave me a steady kind of fuel, not the jittery kind like sugar or caffeine, but the quiet strength that lasts through a walk, a grocery run, or even a few hours of visiting with friends. And there's something else: almonds help stabilize my blood sugar. I used to feel shaky between meals, especially in the late afternoon. Not anymore. They've helped smooth out those dips and crashes, giving me more consistency in how I feel throughout the day. Now, whether it's a snack between meals or a topping on my oatmeal, almonds have earned their place in my daily rhythm. They're small, yes, but they're mighty. Part 11, Avocados, the creamy secret to better balance. I'll admit it, when I first heard all the talk about avocados, I thought it was just a trend. Something for younger folks who put it on toast and posted pictures of it online. But then I tried one, just half of one, mashed up with a little salt and lemon, and my body said, yes, this. What I didn't expect was how nourishing it felt. Not just tasty, but truly satisfying in a way that lasted. Avocados are rich in monounsaturated fats, the good kind that helps reduce inflammation and improve blood flow. I didn't realize how much inflammation was slowing me down until I started feeling lighter, less achy, more fluid in my movements. It was subtle at first, but steady. And those healthy fats? They don't just make your food taste better, they feed your muscles. They support joint health, too, which I definitely noticed in my knees and hands. I no longer dreaded opening jars or walking downstairs. But what really surprised me was how much potassium and magnesium avocados contain. That means better muscle function, fewer cramps, and a calmer, more balanced body overall. I've started using avocado wherever I can. On toast in the morning. Sliced into salads. Sometimes just a spoonful straight from the skin with a pinch of sea salt. It's easy, versatile, and feels like comfort food that also happens to be good for me. It's strange, isn't it? That something so soft and simple can help build strength. But that's what I've come to appreciate, the quiet power of small choices, made daily. Avocados aren't flashy. They're not loud. But they've become one of my favorite allies in staying well, energized, and steady on my feet.